Hello, hello everyone. I am super excited to talk about me time with you this morning with a special guest. Megan is going to join us in just a second. Her name is Megan Moran, and she is I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her in a second, but she is an expert at helping mompreneurs and moms in general, especially mompreneurs, get more me time. So if you are a mama or working mama out there, you're going to want to listen for the next 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to talk to her about some specific ways we can not only carve out me time, but figure out what we want to do during that me time, to just have more time for ourselves. I don't know. Give me a thumbs up if any of you can relate to that. I know I can. So I'm super excited to have her join us today. I'll give you a little bit of background on her while we're waiting for her to come up. And hello to everybody who's joining. I'm so excited to see everyone. Again, we're going to be talking about for busy moms and mompreneurs, this especially is for you. We're talking about how to add more hours back to your day. And then when you have that time, how do you figure out what to do with that time to nourish yourself and fill your bucket back up? So we're going to talk about what's holding you back from time freedom. We're going to talk about how to reclaim more time for yourself. And we're going to, like I said, get some tips. Oh, and there she is, Megan. I'm going to see, can I invite you to join? There we go. I'm going to bring her in right now. Here she I'll give you a little bio on her. So I'm super passionate about this topic, as you can imagine, as a mompreneur and somebody who needs more time. Hi, Megan.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can. I'm so excited to talk about me time.
Yay, me too. I just had some the other day and I can't wait to share all
Oh,
the amazingness about it.
so excited. Well, okay. So to everyone who's just joining, this is Megan Moran. Is it Moran or Moran? How do you say your last name?
Moran.
Moran,
Mhm.
and she is a mom, obviously. She's also a mompreneur. I'm looking at my notes here so I don't
Yeah.
screw anything up. And she's also the owner of the Mompreneur Guide, a company that helps mom entrepreneurs navigate mompreneurship. Hello, thank you so much. With focus, support, and ease at her luxury in-person retreat and her mastermind community. So she's got some amazing resources. We're definitely going to get to all of those. But we're also going to talk about some tips and some strategies and some things to help people. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over. Megan, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself and
Yeah.
what led you to do what you're doing. Because I know you were a mompreneur before you began this endeavor too. So give us a
Mhm.
little background on what you're doing.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. Like you said, I am the owner of the Mompreneur Guide, but I had a different business before this. So my story, and we'll get to that part in a second, is that I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, and not only that, but I actually grew up raised by a mompreneur, which is an interesting part of my story because I've seen it from both sides. I was raised in this like free, open kind of childhood where my mom and my parents, both my parents, were able to be around to pick me up from school, to do what they loved creatively, get in and out of the office as they wanted to. They really had freedom over their time. And so growing up, once I got older, I realized that this was like an option. Like this was super cool. And I knew that's what I wanted to do for myself. And so I was encouraged by my family, like, do what you love and the money will come and just go after whatever your passion is. So I, at the time, was told constantly, you're so good at fashion. Oh, I always got asked, what do I wear? What should I wear? All of those kind of things. And so in high school, actually, I started my first business as a personal stylist. It started first with a blog and then turned into services. And I did that for 10 years. And so I did that because I wanted to set up this base of freedom for my family. I wanted to, when my kids came, obviously down the road from the time I started my business, I wanted to be able to pick them up from school and manage my time just as my parents had. But then the reality of actually having kids came, and I realized what I was doing for styling and how I was managing my time. I was doing more in-person services until COVID. And it just all wasn't jiving. I was having my last daughter, my last child, Sophia. She was just born in November. And it was like, okay, after I have her, this is going to be it for me. Like, what do I want to do for the rest of my life now that this is all reality? And I realized this unique life that I grew up with, this unique lifestyle of mompreneurship from both sides. And so that's when I really came together to realize like I have lived time freedom and I have implemented it in my life because it was ingrained in me. And that's when I want to help other mompreneurs do, not only get their time in order, but then also feel supported, because that's what I grew up with. I was able to bounce ideas off of my family because they got it. They didn't fully get it, but they got it for the most part. And not all of us mompreneurs have that. So that's kind of the two major things in conjunction with getting some self-care that all came through my business journey so far.
That is so amazing. And isn't it funny how life brings us full circle? And I'm so inspired by anyone who has questions, feel free to jot them down too, or musings as we're talking here. But for me, I'm a mompreneur now, but I remember, growing up, and I'm a lot older than you, and my kids, I'm 45 and my kids are 17, 15, 12. You've got little ones. So
Yeah.
we're a little different stages in our life, but I became consulting. I guess that's kind of mompreneurship.
Yeah.
When my daughter, when I had my second daughter, and it was I always thought similar journey from you in that, well, a little bit different. I grew up thinking, have to work for the big company, have to like have that stability and that support. And then I became a mom and was living the dream job, running an ad agency, going, this doesn't give, and I even had the freedom to bring my daughter, when I had my first daughter, to work with me. I could nurse her from my office. I had an office
Wow.
with a door, and I still was struggling to figure out, this isn't what I want. I want more freedom, time freedom. I love that word that expression you've kind of coined there. And I think as I've become, I always did consulting, and now having my own business with Batch Cooking Club, most of
Yeah.
you know, I have this vegan meal prep membership. I'm really struggling with because I've, juggled work and my kids at all different stages. But now that I have my own business, it's a little bit different than consulting for me. That it feels different.
Yeah.
Because I have a physical product that I'm putting out, whereas consulting, it was more service based.
Mm-hmm.
And I do services too, but it's mixed. And what I'm struggling with is really figuring out, I did this because I wanted time freedom, but now I'm feeling kind of chained to this job, this business, and I'm spending more time not with my family than I want to. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing, am I alone in that?
No,
Anybody?
not at all. Yeah. I mean, so people comment if you agree. I want to hear how many mompreneurs are doing this, but that's the thing. Like, you go into this because of the free.
Oh, we lost your voice. Where'd you
Okay,
go?
sorry.
Oh, there you
My
are. There
time.
you are.
So another thing I do as a time-free mom is I have screen time. And so Instagram after 15 minutes, it cuts me off.
Oh.
That's what just happened. I ignored it for today, and I have my notifications off. So good. Anyways, you're seeing my process in order. It's super common. Like, you created this business so that you could be around for your family, but then you have to be intentional about it. Like, you have to make sure you have strategies and then accountability and support, and all of that wrapped into something super easy for you to implement, so that you kind of have those boundaries, and you have work time, you have mom time, and you have to make sure you have me time too, so you're filling up your cup to do the other two things.
So tell me, like, what are your top 3 tips for doing that, for finding that time? Me time. I love it.
Yeah. So my first step that I walk people through with my time freedom formula is, the first thing you have to do is get clarity. Now, when it comes to getting clarity, oftentimes this is a point of contention when you first think about it, because it's like, I have no time, so how can I take time to like sit and journal and think about the things that I want to do? Like, no, I need help now. But what you need to do is you have to get clear, because when you know your list of priorities and what you absolutely want to say yes to, then saying no to things becomes really easy. So in my past life, I was a personal stylist, like I said. And so what I would do is go into people's closets, clean them out, tell them what to keep and get rid of based on their style. It was super easy to clean out your closet when you knew what was working and what didn't. And so that's what you have to do with your time. You have to go through and say, okay, these are the things that are important to me, and look at all these other things I'm doing. Am I keeping up with the Joneses with my marketing and trying to do all of the platforms, or try Clubhouse because it's new, but maybe you don't actually care about how that platform works? You're really good on Instagram. Are you running the kids to 20 activities that they don't care about? And instead, they really care about a couple, and you as a family care about a couple. And so, could you cut back things there? And when you open up, you kind of have to unlock the work time and the mom time, set boundaries for when you're going to work, be in your office, get focused. What are those handful of things you need to do to be profitable, successful, and meet your goals? Same thing with your house. What are the few things that you need to do with your house, your kids, the exercise, the house chores that you want to get done? What can you delete, delegate, automate? It's kind of like you have to put it all out there in order to whittle it down to what's important. And then you're going to unlock so much time. And that's when we can plug in and schedule your me time. So it's really about spacious days. Yeah.
This sounds amazing. So this idea of clarity, and I consider myself such a organized type A person, but I've never thought about it like this. And obvious, it's it seems so simple. Prioritize. Yeah. But what you're saying is very specific in a way that I don't think many of us as mompreneurs do. So I think I just want to encourage everybody, let's do this. Let's sit down and journal this weekend. Do you have, when you take people through this process, do you have prompts, journal prompts that help get to these answers? Because this sounds really life-changing.
Yeah,
transformative.
For sure. Yes. Yeah. So the 3 steps is the clarity, then the alignment, and then recalibration. And so the clarity portion of this time freedom formula takes up the most of our work, because I have worksheets and tools to help you with your business, kind of figure out money mapping, figure out what your goals are, how much money do you actually need to be making, so you know how much time you actually need to spend in the office. Family goals. So I have this living family document that you'll sit down with your family and say, okay, what do we want to do? Like, get your kids involved, get your husband involved, because when everybody's on the same page, it makes your days a lot easier, a lot less friction. So I have all sorts of tools, and then we have the journaling piece, and I have journaling questions that I have everybody go through that transformed my life. I personally did this when I was this past summer pregnant with my daughter, trying to figure out what am I going to do next. I felt called to do something different, but what was that going to be? And these prompts, like I said, transformed my life. I journal every day now, getting my thoughts out and just processing it. And that's how I figured out what I want to spend my days doing. And so that's like the big chunk of the first thing that I do with the time freedom formula. And I have a workbook to walk you step by step through it all, because it can be overwhelming. But when you do it and put it in right, it's gold.
This sounds amazing. So is this is this something that you do? I'm like, sign me up now. I know you have the retreat coming up. So you tell us about that. But separate from the retreat, is there a way that we can do this process with you?
Yes, for sure. So yes, I have the Time Free Mompreneurs Retreat. And so that is the applications close end of April, and that is scheduled to be in September. I will plan to do it again. And after that is launched, I'll have my mastermind. And so that's kind of the recalibration portion. But I'm also going to have it opened up the more that I'm learning about with COVID and everything and people's schedules. I think I'm going to kind of merge the retreat and the mastermind. And so that'll launch within 2 weeks here. And we'll be able to go through the formula there too. Once you get into the mastermind, the other beauty of it, and you are going to be a part of this as well, is that once we get your schedule in order, then it's all about optimizing it. So optimizing, will learn how to meal plan, how to save more time in your house, how to save more time in your business, and what to do with your me time. And so that's really where the mastermind is going to go. It's going to be the time saving strategies, learn the time freedom formula. It's going to be the community, because like I had said before, when you can talk with other mompreneurs who get it, you'll learn more about yourself, you'll get more clarity, you'll feel calmer, and you'll get that support and collaboration. Like, you can collaborate on businesses and grow businesses that way too. So that's really the other huge portion of what I do, which will happen through the mastermind.
That is so exciting.
Yeah, the one other thing that I'm considering launching, and if people are interested, comment and let me know. But I am also planning on maybe doing a mini workshop version of this time freedom formula, where you can come in, we can just get your schedule in order, and then you can see how you need extra support after that. So if people are interested in that as well, let me know.
I think you should do it, Megan. Like, I would sign up for that now. Like, I feel like as a mompreneur right now, I am so much struggling with feeling like I like nothing's fun. Everything feels so hard. And it's like, wait, this isn't this is the exact opposite of why you're doing what you're doing, right? Like,
Right.
and then on those moments that you're actually in it where you're like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing what I do. You're like, how do I bottle this? How did I do this? Like, I want to make sure I'm doing this all the time, right?
Right. Well, and that's the beauty of my time freedom formula. It's a repeatable process. So like life is going to inevitably ebb and flow. Your kids are going to grow and need you differently. Your business is going to change. And so that's where the recalibration portion and the mastermind comes in. It's that accountability. It's making sure every quarter you're going back to those journal prompts. Like, is this what I want to be doing with my time anymore? Have I reached those goals? Like, it's a never ending process and things are going to change. And that's why the work-life balance, I always like to put in quotes, because it's gonna ebb and flow. So that's the beauty of this process is that you can go through it time and time again. Once you've learned it, it's a strategy you've got in your tool belt. So
I see here, Ruthie says she would sign up too. I love and adore Ruthie. She is a fellow mompreneur with an amazing meal prep, not a meal prep, with an amazing, meal prep. It's a membership.
Cool.
Different from mine in that it's called the Elevated Plant Plate, and it's amazing. I encourage everyone to check it out. The Elevated Plant Plate, Black Fig Food. Think here. She is a mompreneur. We live parallel lives. She's an amazing chef. And has 2 kids. And I think she and I are like, yes, sign us up, because we both are trying to do all the things and be the mamas. And I don't know, anyone else who has questions, please, or comments, please feel free to like chime into this conversation. But like, I just think, and maybe because of COVID, it's like even pressurized everything so much more. And with the kids and wanting to be present and show up in ways that we didn't before. Like, there's a lot of things we've had to let go of over this past year and a half. And I'm really starting to wonder, do I want to put them back now that things are opening up again? Like, do I really want to run around every weekend? Does the family want to run around to every single activity? What do I want my weeknights to feel like, And I've been having a lot of conversations with, especially my son, because he's involved in a lot of sports. And now that those things are opening, it's like, do you want to do all of these sports? Because it means you're not going to have as much time during your weeknight. How is that going to affect your mental health, your anxiety? And it's a good question for me to turn on to myself. I'm so worried about him, but it's like, well, I should be asking myself the same questions about my activities, right?
Right.
So I think this is so amazing.
Thank you.
Tell us where we can, and I know that you have a freedom quiz, so that's really fun to take, but tell us how we can learn more about this retreat and what you do. And yes, please put that workshop together. I'm begging you. I would, because I don't know if I can get away in September to come to that retreat. I want to. I'm like, it's on my list of like things to try and make happen. But a workshop, I know I can make happen. So especially if it's virtually. So tell us how we find out more about the retreat, get on your email list, all that stuff.
One quick thing I just want to mention about what you were saying first before I go into that is just the reminder that I think oftentimes we forget as mompreneurs, like, we're in control. And so I have to remind myself that all the time. Like, sometimes I'll see somebody else's process and feel like I have to do it exactly that way. Or like, all of the kids, my kids are 2 under 2. So like, the kids are starting to go to preschool and my kids need to go to preschool now, but like, I didn't get to take my kids to the zoo or a little gym or all those things because of COVID. And so then I oftentimes have to stop myself and be like, wait, I get to make the rules. Like, your kids dictate some things. Your clients are going to dictate some things but at the end of the day, you get to put out and you get to make your schedule however you want. If you want to work in the mornings or at night, if you want to work at nap time, if you want to work on weekend, like, you get to choose whatever it is that you want to do. And I just want to mention that because I have to remind myself it all the time. So hopefully it helps somebody else remember, like, do what works best for you. That's the whole point of my formula. But
I love that. My sales coach, our sales coach says, you're the CEO of your business. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. I get to make the rules.
You forget sometimes. You get into it, or you feel like, oh, well, this process is supposed to work. And so I'm like a total type A person like that. Like, well, it works, so I have to follow it exactly. But then sometimes I'll feel friction, like, but it's not, I can't get it to work right. And then it's, oh, wait, I can do whatever feels easiest to me because that's right for me. So,
right. I love
but
that.
So my time freedom formula, is on my website, themompreneurguide.com. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see it there. It'll tell you the one thing that's holding you back from time freedom. So that's a great place to get started. There's many different things that can be affecting you and your time freedom, and knowing how to start letting go of things to make more space for yourself and your schedule. So that would be the first place to start. When you do that, you'll get on my email list. And I use Facebook a lot. I do Facebook Lives once a week. So I recently talked about pandemic brain, which we were talking about a little bit here. It'll tell you how to cope with the craziness that's going on, because scientifically we are losing our minds according to the research. So we're not going crazy about our schedules, but there's a way to cope with it. So yeah, if you follow me there, you can learn more about my process, more about what I'm doing. You'll also be able to see there when I launch this workshop. If anybody else is interested or has thoughts on it, comment and let me know. I'm gathering my information now so I could get that launched. And then I've got the retreat and the mastermind to continue us down the road of the accountability, the support, and continuing to get more strategies to save time.
I love it. I love it. I don't know if anyone has any questions, please, chime in. Is there anything else, Megan, that we should know that you want to share with us? I'm so grateful to have you here, and I'm so excited to work with you. Like, as Megan mentioned, I'm going to be sharing some of my meal planning strategies for that third phase she was talking about in her formula. But I actually personally want to be a client, because I'm so in need of this, and I just think it's a great service to be offering to mompreneurs as we're trying to figure it all out, you know?
Yeah. No, I so appreciate you letting me be here and letting me share my story and what I do with other people. And I just can't wait to help people. It just transitioned into this venture it's been a couple months now, and the feedback has been great. And I just more and more have realized like how lit up I get from supporting other women, having coffee chats and things like that with other mompreneurs. So if you're a mompreneur and you feel like you need some business besties, that's what I'm all about. Like, let me know and we can get some coffee chats together. That's part of what the mastermind is going to be about, is really just that support and that strategy, and then throwing in that self-care there too. So don't forget about the self-care.
I want to be your business bestie. I love it. I love it.
We're already in that club. We just got to get our coffee chat on the calendar.
We need our coffee chat.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, Megan, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to put all your links in the description when I post this. And thank you to everyone who's watching either live or in replay. I so appreciate you being here. I hope this is a great resource for you. I try to not only be a resource for you, obviously, when it comes to meal prep and feeding your family, but also just being a busy mama, and think resources and tools. When I hear about things that I'm like, that's something that sounds amazing, I want to share it with you. So I hope this was of value, and I thank you for watching. So Megan, you have a great rest of your day, and happy weekend to everybody.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.